Alright, everyone, it is time to talk about a unit that has been out on JP for an incredibly long time, and it is finally time for her to debut on Global. We are talking about none of the units on screen right now. Um, I mean, like, it's taken so long. Like, last week, I was seeing a lot of Earth Elemental teams, and I don't know if it's just because it's Monday or whatever, but I just want to show this off. Look at this for a second. Look at this as we actually scroll down. Look at the difference in Elemental teams on early Arena. And these are not necessarily low rank. Well, okay, there's some low rank accounts, but you can see here we got thunder-based teams. We got fire-based teams. Someone's even a 120 Pizarro. I mean, it's just crazy, right? We got ice teams. We got wind teams. It's just crazy. What's this fire team? Okay, right, a little offense. But one of the reasons why we are here today is we're here to just talk about the Earth Elemental character that is coming out and where she is, whether or not she's still good on JP, how essential is she for the Earth Element from my perspective, my own experiences, and all of that. And I'm just lumping this all together in a single video. So here we go. Macherie, Queen Macherie, the new version of Macherie, 100 cost unit, and one of the few Earth units to come out in the next little while. After Macherie, there really isn't too terribly many other characters until Frederica's sister-in-law shows up. And yeah, that's essentially it. It's really kind of dry for the Earth element. Earth is also still experiencing a little bit of vision card drought. Nothing really too terribly much at this point that is overly strengthening Earth. And that's kind of going to be a general theme of this video. There's nothing wrong with new Macherie, but is she really excelling the Earth elements? And first of all, of course, Earth Elemental people, I think you'll be quite happy with her because distinctively in the Earth element right now, after, Noctis and Oberon and Ketone, all three of those characters are potentials in teams for PvP for Earth Element, but Macherie has earned her place as a staple, effectively. I mean, if you are just running the Earth Element, she is good enough to be running, period, all the time in a team. Like, her damaging capabilities, with her auto-revive, everything like that. I think that she has very much earned her place as the Earth Element character who will do really well. And I think on Global, because you guys have a few extra Earth Elemental bonuses, you'll also be quite happy with her. I mean, it's not just that, she also comes with her own vision card, which does do her a considerable amount of good for recommendation with an Esper too. I mean, how much more full package potentially ask for? It's even a 16 agility Esper, and it's a freaking tree. Come on, it's more than good enough. Taking a look at my Macherie, you can get an idea for what her stats are. We can even look at her vision card to see what it is. We're getting some agility here, some magic, some AP, and it's just the big magic boost. And you know what? Earth as an element for magic definitely doesn't suck over the next little while. You have Macherie, you have Ruel, and you have Kilf. All three characters are just powerful mages. Kilf and Ruel are going to get boosts into the next little bit with job rebalancing, and not only that, just their master ability 2s do go a ways to make them better. And that's great. That makes this way more easier to recommend. Earth is already a pretty defensive element. I know I've heard people say, I want Earth element to have a really good tank. I mean, it does have a cheap cost tank, but it still is kind of missing a UR tank. But there is some potential here to just be tanky across the entire board and be pretty okay with it. I think that Earth as an element right now, pretty good. You have options for speed, you have options for that. The one thing that I will say is that Earth is held back by some limited vision cards. I mean, we lodged the same complaint against fire and people still like it, right? So, yes, Queen Macherie is definitely a good get. She will be long-term value. And after it, if you're an Earth Elemental main, I mean, you're looking at Fred's sister, but other than that, there isn't really too terribly much. So the Earth Element could be considered a fairly cheap build afterwards. Now, that being said, if you are like me and you kind of just have multiple different elements, right, that's why that got taken off. Okay. If you have multiple built elements, this is the thing I'm going to talk just a little bit about. After her initial weeks of bonus in Arena, and after I started to become more enamored with certain other elements, particularly, I think the element that really caught my eye was ice. I've been really enjoying ice. I've been building ice, and I've been having a great, like a fun time with building the ice element. Um, Earth has definitely fallen off, completely off my radar, and to that extent, here's the thing. I really don't feel as a multi-elemental main that Macherie has really changed my life in a great way. And this is just me saying that effectively I had to spend a fair number of resources to get her where she is, and I don't feel like she's exactly paid me back for the amount of resources that I have kind of sunk into her, which is disappointing. It is just disappointing from my perspective, but that's where I'm going to say the negativity. In terms of PvP, she is going to have a heckin' long fun time ahead of her. Particularly because I do still expect Lightning is going to be everywhere on Global. She's just going to be everywhere. She was on JP and she's still everywhere. Lightning Elemental teams are still really popular on JP. If there's an element in Arena that's kind of fallen off the most, it does feel a lot like water. And that's just because of the inclusion of Orlando and Lightning really pushed a lot of Lightning Elemental teams through Arena. And even now, with Slime being introduced to the game from Dragon Quest, that is a character that is also, of course, just because he's a bonus unit, allow Lightning to be ever pervasive. And to that extent, you can go with these Earth characters for a good amount of time and have good matchups against Lightning. That's the great news. I mean, you really, really can. It's not difficult to kind of get there with the Earth element against Lightning. Now, here's the other side of that coin. Wind is balls. Wind is just a matchup that is, I don't think that Macherie is going to help you at all with. And in the middle ground, from my experience, it's kind of 50-50. I do remember having to work a little bit on Macherie's AI to kind of get her to use the abilities I was hoping for. And that's not bad, it's just to say. But yeah, Macherie to get up to speed can be kind of a high cost because you're looking, there's no two ways about it. I would say that if you're going to do this, Vision Card is a must. The Esper is almost a must. I mean, it's just effectively nice to free up a Bahamut to throw on somebody else, and you're really not losing much on Macherie because she has generally a nice kit. As a matter of fact, you're just kind of padding out and evening out your entire kit. There's one thing that I say that there really needs to be in this. And yes, there's probably some things to switch around. This is how long I have not looked at this party because other elements for me have just been more successful. So for multi-elemental people, I don't know if Macherie is really going to be the world-changing thing that you think she is, especially because there's just some good improvements in the party. Oberyn still holds up. Ruel gets a boost. Heal gets a boost. You already have Noctis. You might just be at a point where you don't need it, and nothing has really persuaded me to say that she's a must-have for everyone. She's just not. For the Earth Elemental people, oh, you're going to be so happy. She's a great addition to your team that will work in PvP and PvP conditions. quite nicely, and I still say that she's pretty highly rated in JP just because she has good matchups into the Lightning teams. That being said, Lightning is pretty strong and kind of was a little bit of a threat against Earth for a bit, from what I remember at the time. I think that's mostly been hammered out now. So yeah, I still see a good amount of teams in Arena that have some combination of Earth Elemental characters, but usually Macherie is not the or Queen Macherie is not the one who's excluded because she's just so darn good. So if I'm to wrap up this video, just as a overall final thoughts on Macherie, Queen Macherie, I would say that I'm fairly happy. Like, you look at this combination of stuff and you can get an idea for who's effectively kind of with this speed equipment. Feeling pretty good. I'm just going to switch around thing really quickly here. Where's that? I'll say really brain farted on camera, and you know what, just to oh, never mind, the speed card's already, we're fine. The vision card is just a great get. If you are going to at all pass on Macherie, but you are still building the Earth element, I'd recommend the vision card. It's a cheap get at 10k. You get an extra magic Esper that's pretty up to date and pretty modernized, but also just has good application with characters that you probably already have. You probably at least have a kill who can benefit Esper. So vision card, I would recommend the highest overall for mostly a lot of people. For Earth Elemental people, you'll probably want everything, and for everyone else, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff coming in the future, so pick the element that you're really wanting and go with it. That's my general look, and I don't think that there's too terribly much else said. If people are really interested, I could run her in some potential arena matches to just show her off there, but I feel really confident, and I think that I do have some archive footage. Also, one other thing we could do, and we still might do, this would be a lose case in most scenarios, though, is we could do, this is a final selling feature. If you have all the Macherie pretty, team it up in Arena. That's not good enough reason to spend $500-600 on a character. What is? Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and see you next time. Maybe I'll do some more Macherie stuff this week. Maybe.